Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another WREXtra time. Did you miss me? I bet you did. I missed you guys. I am looking forward to tonight. I'm sure we're going to have lots of people willing to come in and chat tonight after our stunning performance. Amazing work by Wrexham. 1-0 win after receiving a red card. The boys stuck together and they pulled out the win. So we've had a great night tonight and we are going to talk all about it. While we are waiting for people to join, the link is in the chat, guys. Come into the back and hang around. I will bring you in as soon as I can, and we can discuss whatever you want to talk about. Because if you haven't watched WREXtra Time before, it is about what you want to talk about. Not me, because I'm on regularly with different shows. So you lead the discourse tonight. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think we deserved to win? Was it a red card? Was it not a red card? If you are watching the watch along with Josh, then you know my point of view. I've already put it in the chat of that show, but come in and tell me I'm wrong. A few of you in the chat did do so, so I'm waiting for you to come in tonight and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't mind you doing that. You can do that as long as you say it nicely. I'm the only one here who's allowed not be nice. So we are going to have fun tonight. Who is going to be first up? Come and join the show. Now, before we do that, I'm going to pull up some matches. Let's have a quick look at this. Matches tonight, we have Swansea City versus QPR. Swansea lost 1-0. They got a red card. It was after they lost the goal, so at least they can't say that the goal happened during the red card, but it was at about 37 minutes, something like that. So they did have a lot of the match with a red card, 1 goal down. Surprised it's not more, considering they only had 10 men for so long. Watford pulled off a nice win, 2-1 versus West Bromwich Albion, took a couple of points off West Brom, which doesn't hurt in the long run, because look, if we keep playing well, we may actually have to jump ahead of them at some point this season. Wrexham, of course, they're 1-0 with a red card. We held it up to Oxford and took the 3 points. Sheffield Wednesday did their best versus Middlesbrough, lost an early goal, but didn't lose any more. Middlesbrough win 1-0. Kind of a surprising result, just being only 1 goal. However, Middlesbrough got the win that everybody did expect. Okay, now let's pull that one down and close it out, because I'm going to bring up another screen. Habs, I see you there in the background. I will bring you in 2 seconds once I finish this. It won't be long. Share screen. Okay, I did something silly. I should have just changed it over here. So where is the table? There's the table. Okay, so this is the table as it stands. I'm sure you can see that. Yes, you can. Okay. So in first place, Coventry City, 25 points. Second, Middlesbrough, 24. Then in the playoff positions, we have Millwall at 20, Bristol City, 19. Charlton Athletic, our old pals from League One, doing extremely well on 18 points. Stoke City on 18 also, and then 2 more on 18, Hull City and QPR sitting just outside based on goal difference. So this season is really looking like there is going to be no promoted teams dropping back down to League One again, as has happened the year previously. Then drop down a little bit. Birmingham City have fallen just out of the top 12, so they're taking the top of the bottom. So that's 13th for Birmingham City, 14th for Ipswich, 15th for Wrexham by a goal difference of 4 to Ipswich, both on 13 points. Swansea City on 13, Portsmouth on 13, Southampton on 12, Derby on 11, and then Oxford United still on 9. Sheffield United out of the relegation zone. They are now in 21st. Norwich City in the relegation zone, 8 points. That is crazy. Someone is going to get sacked in the morning. And then Blackburn Rovers and Sheffield Wednesday pulling up the rear. Okay, that is done. Let's switch this off. Let's bring in Habsification. And guys, you can join in as well. Simon Evans has asked, how do I join the chat? If you scroll back up in the chat there, I have a link to StreamYard, streamyard.com. Just copy that link and throw it into your browser, and then you will be able to join us. You will end up backstage, and I will bring you on the show after a couple of minutes. So everybody, welcome to join tonight. I would like lots of people to join. So first up is Habsification. He has been on before. We love having him here. Hello. How are you?
Yeah, what's going on?
Good. 3 points, baby.
I'm just happy we won, but I'm not happy in the way that we won.
Oh, we're going to start with a negative. Go for it. Go on.
I mean, the way that we won was we were doing fine in the first half, and then all of a sudden you could just see the old habits just crawling straight back in, just shelling up and shelling up and shelling up, even though you could tell Oxford is a trash team.
Okay.
Literally, everyone. I mean, if you was watching the match, you could tell how easy it was to pass through them, and the sheer amount of space they were giving us, just to be able to go through, find passes, connect passes together. There was a chance where we could have got an easy open goal in the first half as well, multiple times, and the same could have happened in the second half. But for some reason, we just stopped pressing. It just didn't. We were still going forward, but it just didn't feel like we had that aggression was gone.
Yeah.
That we had in the first half.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The possession stats show that as well. For the first half versus the second half, they had started to pick up. We had started to give them more space in the second half before we ended up with the red card.
Yeah, and I mean that, and also the ref was just. No, that ref was. I did not like that ref.
He wasn't great, and Ruth says that the ref. Not Ruth. Who said it? I just put it up a second ago. It was Ruth, yeah. Parky just called the ref poor, which is unlike him. He rarely talks about the refs, so he obviously was quite unhappy with the ref in general tonight.
Yeah, but we got the win. I mean, let's just the thing I could say is that we were generally doing great in the first half. We were dangerous in the first half. You can see that. But I don't know what it is. This happened last match and the match, and maybe the match before. We just always look dangerous, and then something just falls off in the second half. It was happened in the Birmingham match as well. There's something that just, I don't know what instinctively happens. We just shell up and then we just stop being aggressive. And the only time we started getting aggressive was really near the end.
Yeah.
And the amount of times and there were so many chances where we had Sam Smith could have scored goals. I mean, the thing is, we need to sub out more from around the 65th minute for Smith.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I've been saying this for a while. We need to be subbing him out earlier.
Okay. I will say though, our team today looked very much like our League One team in style. Now, not in quality, obviously, but it reminded me a lot of last year, and I was kind of enjoying it for most of the match actually. So that was pretty good. I understand the points you're making. I don't disagree with them totally or much, to be honest. Now, we do have Simon Evans in the background. Habs, if you just hang on there for a minute, I'll bring Simon in because he hasn't been on the show before. So, are you having internet problems? He was there a moment ago. Okay, I'll throw you into the back. I'll bring you in again, Simon, if you're hearing this, as soon as you pop back up on screen. Okay. Yeah, so Marie from SoCal is hitting the positivity. Can we just enjoy the first win without negativity? Let's be honest though. It's fair. Everybody has their points. And it wasn't an amazing game today, but we did have some nice chances. We were playing very well. Most of the players I was quite happy with. Is there anybody you weren't happy with in general?
Not really. I mean, even Matty James had a good match as well. I think the formation suited him far more.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah. Matty James had a very good match, I think. So did Dobson. Playing together, they did well, which I suppose was a little surprising. You know, I was a little bit kind of defensive about having Matty James on, but I guess he knows that formation really well now that we went back to the 3-5-1-1 today. So it certainly didn't hurt us today. He did play some lovely passes. He's not particularly fast, but I think tonight he showed he still has the brain, the footballing knowledge, to play some nice movements.
When we were playing, most of the time we were going actually going straight into our 3-4-3 formation. So we were going into that. We go back into the 3-5-2, then we go into a 3-4-3, and at times we'd go into a 4-3-3. I was noticing as well.
Okay, yeah.
There was some strange moving arounds there were. But
yeah, a lot of flexing, of course, a lot of flow within the team.
But yeah, I agree that. Oh, go ahead.
No, finish it there, and then I'll bring in Simon.
Yeah, I was going to say. I mean, for Matty James, that formation suited him perfectly fine. That did, and it just allowed him to be able to work. He worked better with Dobson and everyone else, really. But then again, we were up against Oxford, and I don't even think I didn't feel threatened after a certain point.
Yeah, that's fair. They didn't look really threatening when they had the ball. That's quite fair. I think John made a comment actually in there as well, saying that they could play for another hour and they're still not going to score against us.
Yeah, it isn't like you could play them for another 3 hours and they won't score. Yeah. But they are a dirty team. They are.
Okay, leave it there. We bring in Simon. Hang on, Simon, are you working? Can we hear you? Oh, black screen. No, still not working for Simon. Sorry, Simon. Check your settings and see if there's anything there that can help you. Click the three dots and check your camera and your microphone. Anybody else as well, guys? Jump in the back, and we'll get you in there. Okay, so let's positive this up for a moment. Pull out some of your most positive players or moments or whatever you want to talk about.
I think Arthur's back into league form. He's back into league form now. So he's not letting any ball. Well, he's not really going to try and let any ball get in. So he's just keeping those balls out as much as possible. So he's just stopping everything he can. He's turned into a brick wall, absolute. And then I think he's gotten better. I think he's gotten better with his defense as well. So his back line is starting to work with him better.
Yeah, I thought he looked good tonight. He commanded his box nicely, which was good to see. That was one issue for the last couple of the last season we were talking about. So he seems to look a bit more comfortable around his box, and maybe just a couple of matches helped him out.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of anything. That's all it really was. I think he just needed to get some time. And he'll be just back into league form, and he just seems to be stopping every goal that just seems to come through, even if there are trash ones by coming from Oxford. So,
okay, guys, I'm going to throw the link out there as well to see if anybody else wants to come in. So, join the link, jump in the background, and have your say tonight. So, I am going to bring up the screen again, and we're going to have a quick look at the scores for the players. Now it's a little small, but I'll call them out. So our best was AO with 7.7. Broadhead and Moore also both on 7.7. And then Hyam on 7.6. All really high. I think that's fairly self-explanatory. I thought they were all great tonight. Happy with those?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, what did they give Doyle? They gave Doyle...
No, forget about Doyle for a second. So we got highest ones first. Okonkwo Hyam, Broadhead, and Moore, all basically 7.7. They're really high scores.
Yeah, yeah, more or less, I'd say. Yeah, that's pretty much fine.
Okay, so then you have
Well,
in defense, you have Cleworth on the right, 7.2. Pretty solid, good match for him, I think.
yeah, more or less.
Okay, then on the wings, you have Kabore on the right, 7.2. Kakachi on the left, 6.9. I guess ultimately he didn't really get any assists or goals, but he played generally well. His defense was very much on point tonight. So I would have liked to see him just a little bit higher, but I maybe understand why it was 6.9.
I mean, he didn't get as much service as he could. He was getting service, but not as much as you would get to be able to push the game further forward. If he did, you could see that he would have. I mean, every time he was on the ball, he was a threat.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
was constantly a threat, and they didn't know how to deal with him.
He definitely looked stronger than Longman for me. I think it looked like there was a clear divide there, that he looked more dangerous. He looked more comfortable on the ball.
And it makes sense, and he looked so much more dangerous because he's a natural left footer. You can tell he could just cross it over so easily with his left foot.
Yeah, I agree. Then in the middle, we have Thomason got 7.1, James got 7.2, and Dobson got 7.4. All really good scores for them as well. I think they all had a very decent game. Quite happy with them, to be honest.
I wouldn't if Doyle hadn't been sent off. I would have probably kept Thomason on the entire match.
Yeah,
I think I would have.
You're happy with Thomason's play then? Obviously, from the start, first chance really in the starting 11. I thought he looked good.
I think he looks great, and I think I can imagine him improving along the season as well, quite significantly. Quite significantly, his ceiling's a lot higher.
Yeah. Mary, I can see you trying to get in the background, but it says device is not connected. I'll bring you in shortly if you can get that working. And then last one is Doyle. Obviously, Doyle got quite a low score at just 6 because he got sent off with a red card. So that's fair enough, I think, there. Right, let's pull this down. And
The only thing about the Doyle thing is that if
yeah,
he didn't get set off, I think he would have a much higher rating. That's all it really is.
yeah,
'Cause
obviously he got pulled down because of the red. Yeah,
he was a monster most of the match. He was.
yeah. Okay, Mary's in the background here. I'll bring her in. Hello, Mary.
Hey,
Hello.
Patty, can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, hey, Habs.
Yeah, what's going on?
So I will bring the positives.
Go for
I
it.
thought that was a really good, scrappy game. That's the kind of game we need because the game against Stoke they looked so uninspired to win that game. And we had 11 players on. The whole Doyle thing, honestly, that's a 50-50. If that was an Oxford player and he did that to one of our players, wouldn't we be calling for the red? So that's a 50-50 for me. But Ayo had a great game today. So did Maddie James. I've been critical of Maddie James just because I don't see what he brings to this lineup. But this game and his match against Leicester City was, I would say, his best performance so far. So I got to give Parky credit there.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that on James. I have questioned him quite a few times. My main issue with James is his speed.
Me too.
But I definitely think tonight is certainly one of his best games, probably his best game this season.
And I think he has good chemistry with Dobson.
He does.
Yeah, I think they play really well together. Kakache looks great. We'll see his results. He just needs more playing time. And I think Broadhead, he put a stamp on his performance today because I think it's gonna force Parky to question whether he drops O'Brien or Windass. I think he should drop Windass in the next game because Windass has been quiet for me for the past matches, but I don't know. So we'll see what Parky does. But it's a great win. It's a home win. And I think it gets this club fired up. I think we really needed this scrappy game. Yeah, and I think we have the players to do it. Our bench is solid. Parky just needs to figure it all out. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think Broadhead showed his class tonight.
Yeah.
Showed he definitely should be in our starting 11. Some of the movements he made, some of the passes, and the composure he had on the ball to wait and look around him for the best options,
Right.
showed his talent level. And we need to figure out how he works in the team. I have been a big fan of Windass from this when he started in the championship with us, but the last 2 matches previous to this, he hasn't looked great, and he did look good when he came on late today. So he looked back whatever was wrong in the last match. So good to have, and if he needs to be on the bench for a bit, so be it. We need to get Broadhead on the pitch, in my opinion, after tonight's performance.
Yeah, I agree. And I think rotation is key. I think rotation is so key in the lineup, and Parky also needs to sub in quicker. I think that's my biggest pet peeve with him. I'm still backing him, but that is my biggest pet peeve with Parky, is his slow subs. Late in the game, and I hate that.
Yeah, so he swapped Broadhead at 60 minutes. Which was quite early for him actually tonight, but that was just for the one. And again, okay, just on that point, what did you think about Broadhead when he was taken off? Do you think he looked tired?
No, I thought he was all over the pitch, and I thought that he looked like a number 10 to me.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why he needed to be subbed at 60 minutes myself. Well, we all call for Parky to sub people a bit earlier. So the 60 minutes I like. I'm just curious. Like, he seems to be being very careful with Broadhead. Maybe there's an underlying injury he doesn't want to push too much or something. I don't know. But that's unusual. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, because definitely I think he deserves a start after his performance tonight.
I do. And I feel really sorry for Ryan Hardy and Sam Smith. I think they deserve more playing time. It's kind of been harsh towards Hardy, especially.
Yeah. And Hardy came on at 88 minutes instead of more. And obviously he was changing a lot around. Now, he did delay that one because of corners and a few other ones. But even then, you're still going to bring it back to, what, 82 minutes? Somewhere around there, which is still very late. I definitely think Kiefer Moore could do with coming off a bit earlier, and Smith getting a chance earlier with the gas tank he has, with the options he brings. I'd like to see that more as well.
Habs, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's been my call for a while, to get Smith or Hardy on around the 60th or 65th minute, because Kiefer Moore does not last longer than that. You can tell I've said this in the Leicester match on the extra time there. I said he has a steep decline around the 60th or 65th minute. His performance just drops significantly from that point onwards. But then when I said Sam comes on, you can just see him running around like a maniac.
Yeah.
But the thing is that one thing I noticed is that as soon as Smith came on, you can tell how well he works with Windass. He works significantly better with Windass with the ball on the ground. So, and while Moore is very good being in the air with his movement, I mean, you can see how much easier it is to pass the ball from Windass, whether it's on the right wing to Windass or to Smith, and Smith will get the ball in the danger zone for the opposition. So it looks a lot better when you have Smith on for that. Or it could be Hardy, or either one. But we just need to get more off either earlier, or have Smith on at the start and then bring more on later, to just to be physical with the rest of the opposition, because they're not really going to be able to deal with a 6'5" man who's fresh and is just going to be basically pushing them around and being physical with them. So
okay, moving back to the Doyle. So we mentioned it a little bit. Obviously, he did get a red card. So first off, red card, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Abs?
oh yeah, that was a red. It's a clear red. I know Josh is going to disagree, but it was a clear red.
Okay, so it has been asked in the chat. I didn't start, so I can't go back to it. But someone said they think it's only a 1-match suspension, and we'll see what ultimately happens. However, I did check it just to see what the rules said. So the suspension length depends on why he's sent off. Now, I'll call them all out because there's only a few here. Denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, which it wasn't, such as handling the ball or fouling to stop a clear chance, is a 1-match suspension. So it's not that. Then serious foul play or reckless challenge. Description, dangerous tackle, endangering safety without excessive force. This, for me, is what he got red carded for. Was studs up and going through the tackle, which is reckless because you're endangering the other player. So that is a 2-match suspension. Then you have violent conduct, which is excessive force, such as punching, kicking, headbutting, or spitting. 3 matches. So it's definitely not violent conduct. And then we have abusive language or dissent, offensive gestures or language towards officials or opponents. So it's serious foul play or reckless challenge. So if we want to challenge it, maybe they might downgrade it to what would be more like a 2 yellow situation with one match off. But I don't think we'll get anything. If we go and ask for it to be downgraded, I think they're going to say no on this one. They leave it in the hands of the ref for this. I would have been happy if it was a yellow, and even if it was against us, I think I would have been okay with a yellow. But I can absolutely see why it is a red, and I do think it fits the criteria. You have to be in control of your movement.
It was
Maybe
a
he
late
didn't.
challenge.
It was a
really
late
late
challenge, and for
challenge.
me, it was studs up as I saw it.
Yeah.
Haven't seen a slow down replay of it. I did see the replay, and I still think he went in with studs up, which is endangering the player. So 2-match ban suspension is what I see, and I don't think it'll be changed.
And you have to feel for him too, because he had a really great first half. Doyle too, but he had a really great first half. So.
Okay, Brian Burton. There's a man who doesn't think it's a red card. He said so earlier.
No, that challenge was extremely reckless. It was a late challenge as well. So he didn't go for the ball. He went straight for his shin, and it was quite a reckless challenge. It was.
Yeah. And Kim says here, a clear red in 2025, a stiff warning in 1995. I think that's fair.
Do you know what also was different back in the 90s as well, and which doesn't exist now? Because of the way the footballers, I mean, if you went back to the 70s, these guys were just basically trying to break each other's legs at that point. I'm not joking. They were trying to hack each other hard. They were. But the thing is, one thing you notice now, especially with the modern game in comparison to, let's say, the 90s or the 80s or the 70s or the 60s and so on, look at their legs. Where's their shin guards? Where's the ankle protection?
Yeah.
That's the reason why.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. They would call that in the Premier League, right? That would be a red.
Oh yeah, I think it's clearly a red, yeah. And what would happen is they would potentially go to VAR and they'd slow it down, and you would see every single frame of the studs up, which would make it even worse. VAR is not good for tackles because it slows everything down. Everything looks worse.
VAR is not good in general, Patty, but
oh well, yeah, that's a different rant. I try to avoid because I get on it too much.
Yeah.
I'll wait till we're in the Prem and then I'll rant about it every single week.
I do have a question. Broadhead. Is
Sorry,
he
you're
meant
breaking
to
up there.
play? Oh,
Can you start again?
so I had a question for Broadhead. Is
Yes.
he, or well, for you guys about Broadhead, is he meant to play a number 10?
Not sure. He can. John Merrill, we spoke about this last night actually on Champ Chat. He thinks that we brought Broadhead in as a 10 for him
Right.
when he was looking at our team. So he might play 10, he might play 9. I was thinking it was the 9, but we have the Windass, so yeah.
Do you think that Parky just because we brought in so much attacking options that he wasn't quite sure where Nathan would fit?
No, I don't know if anybody would agree with me on this. I think Broadhead is brought in mostly for the second half of the season when the rest of the team have gotten together with their passing abilities and a new formation. I think that's when like we would really need a Broadhead. But he looked really good today and he got a bit of service today. He will look terrible if he doesn't get service.
Yeah.
So I think he was a more long-term option that he sees Broadhead will fit really well once the rest of the team is understanding what he wants as with regards formations and tactics and playing passing football more.
He's
So
one of our most creative players as well.
yeah,
He looks so dangerous. He every time he comes on, you can't predict what he's going to do, and he's so good on the ball.
yeah, he is. Yeah. I liken it maybe a little bit to Fletcher. When Fletcher started coming on, he was doing flicks and tricks and stuff that other people on the team just weren't aware of, didn't see coming. And then when he did them, no one was there. He was passing balls into dead space where someone should be running in for simple tap-ins, and they couldn't follow what he was doing. And it took quite a while before he started making things a little bit more simple, and then the goals started coming for him. I think it's a little bit like that with Broadhead in that his football intelligence is above the rest of the team potentially. Not all of them, but just as a general, I think he's a little bit ahead of it. But if he can play like that now, I think he needs to be in the team now. And of course, they'll learn from him, and he'll learn how they work, and they'll both adjust. So I want him in.
Interesting.
I mean, the same would I would say with Kabore as well. He's exactly like that. He's that both Kabore and Broadhead are some of our most creative players that we've got. They're some of the most technical and skilled that we've got, and they can do things that other players they're just not capable of reading when they should be able to see it. But
I think O'Brien is a really quality player.
He is. I think we need to play him further back. He's not an amazing finisher, but he absolutely has the talent.
He also doesn't press as often. Kiefer will press, Windass will press, but O'Brien doesn't press, and I think that's why we looked so not sloppy, just we didn't play quick enough and we didn't press harder, I guess, in the past matches. And yeah.
I mean, I was just going to say, O'Brien's has that engine to be able to just keep going for 90 minutes and count. So he just will not stop. So
yeah, go on.
No, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, I've compared him before to Dobson, and I think he can do a very, very similar role to Dobson. I see that game in him, but he is stronger in attack than Dobson is. It's kind of clear when Dobson gets up near the goal, he has to pass it off. You don't want him shooting. You don't want him running in amongst the defenders too much. Whereas at least O'Brien, I think, has those attacking elements. But I would just like him to start a bit deeper so he has more options to pass it to others who are a bit stronger. in attack and finishing.
That's the thing. I mean, weirdly enough, I think Dobson is a better finisher than O'Brien in comparison.
Really?
I know.
I
That's a
don't
hot
agree with
take,
that.
Habs. That's a
Yeah, I don't
hot
agree with that.
take.
How long did it take Dobson to get a goal?
He's had
At
2
least
goals.
O'Brien has one.
He's had 2 goals this season.
Okay.
Birmingham.
Fair
That was his
enough.
goal.
Yeah. That's a good
Is it
point. I
2?
didn't actually. Is it? I'll check now, just to be sure.
Or was it they had the same amount of goals? Maybe I'm just confusing with another person.
I think O'Brien has 2 goals, and I think Dobson has the 1 goal.
Dobson has 1 goal. Yeah. Okay.
O'Brien scored against Millwall,
You're
right?
correct. Birmingham City was his goal. Yeah.
Uh,
Let's find O'Brien here. Keep talking, guys. Dead air.
Well, I have a
Okay.
question too. What about and this is the thing, there's so much good players. What do you do with Rathbone and what do you do with Thomason?
Yeah, there isn't a lot of space. I think Thomason did well and deserves a bit more time.
I agree.
Maybe not immediately, but I want to see him more because he looks like he could be very good.
He's very good with pushing the game forward. That's
Yes.
one thing he's very good at. He's good at pushing the game forward. Something that who's it? I was thinking of. I'm not too sure with what Rathbone would be able to do because he's whatever. There was some kind of rumors going around him being slightly injured. So
Injured again?
Yeah.
well, it may just be
Himself and
fatigue.
Chief. Apparently, I think his back was a little bit sore, and maybe Chief as well. They were saying that it was precautionary, so didn't have an actual injury that stopped them, but to be careful and cautious that they took them out. So, okay, Lewis O'Brien has 3 goals and 2 assists.
Okay, I was wrong.
Yeah. So he scored against Derby. He scored against Millwall. And where is his other goal?
Might have been a cup match.
Might have been a cup match. Okay, in the chat, if you know what his other goal is, this is not changing. So I'm not going to waste any more time on it. But yeah, I actually think it was a cup for maybe his first one.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, there you go. I wasn't sure myself, so I said I better check that. Okay, I'll put it out there. Is anybody else coming in tonight? We are only at 40 minutes, and we normally go a good 90 minutes. But I know everybody's happy tonight, so maybe not too many people are coming in. But let's have a nice positive one tonight, guys. Let's get a few people in.
We can become Excuse FC for Saturday. So
Exactly.
What is your lineup for Saturday, Habs?
Saturday, wrap on injured training today. But they are very light injuries. Okay, so sorry. Tom Evans here. Maybe he's heard a little bit more. Sheaf injured was Saturday. Rathbone injured in training today. Parky will no more tomorrow, but they are very light injuries. Sheaf would have played if it was the last game of the season. Okay, so if we could risk him. Okay, so there you go. Light injuries, precautionary, keeping them out of the team just so they don't hurt it. Dave Hildrich, who was our captain today? Our captain today was Chaim, which was a new one. So yeah, lots of people stepping up for captains in our team. It is normally Windus, but Windus didn't start. Now, there's a quick question. Did anybody notice, did Chaim give Windus the captain's armband?
I didn't see it.
Not sure.
I don't think so, personally, but I'm not sure. So I think he kept it, personally.
I don't mind
Okay.
it. I don't mind it. He can be our captain. I think he's a really solid player.
Yeah, he is very solid. Absolutely, we wouldn't want to be without him. And everybody is saying that in the chat as well. Okay, Michael, Hyam didn't come off, did he? No, Hyam didn't come off, but it is still done that you will pass over the armband if someone else who is kind of higher station gets it. Similar with McLean. If McLean comes in off the bench, you will generally give him back the armband. So not saying Hyam needed to do it for Windus, because Windus is a new captain to us, but just curious if it happened, and I don't think it did. Okay. Tom Evans is definitely saying Hyam kept the armband. And O'Brien scored in the Derby, Millwall, and West Brom matches. There you go. Right. So, what other topics do we have that we need to talk about? Come on, chat, join in here, because there isn't that many topics really. We kind of all agree on what happened today, pretty much.
First home win.
First home win, yeah, which is great. We've already said we're ahead of Swansea, which is brilliant.
I have a question, Patty. If we didn't win this game,
yes,
does everybody start hitting the panic button?
Yes.
Because we don't win, we haven't won any home games so far, and potentially we're losing points if we don't win home games, which used to be an automatic, right, in the previous seasons.
Yeah, but we have completely flipped our form with most of our points coming from the away matches.
Right.
Whereas we had the complete opposite last time. And as much as people didn't like losing or drawing away, it was, oh, well, that's our away form. They just accepted it. So it's interesting that people get so annoyed about your home form. And I get it, in front of all your fans and stuff like that. But as long as the points come, I don't really care. The big one for me, why we needed these points tonight, is because of the next two matches. We have, who do we have? We have
Middlesbrough and Coventry.
Middlesbrough away, and then Coventry at home for the next two. So they are very big matches. And if we don't get any points in those two matches, it would have been a big deal if we got one or none tonight. So what the win tonight has done is it puts us on a 1 point per match situation if we do lose the next two in the league, which is not amazing, but it's above relegation playoffs or relegation spots at the moment. Ultimately, 1 per game is very right on the edge at the end of a season, but right now we're ahead of that, and the bottom teams are less than the 1 point per game. So we have to stay out of that zone at all costs. You don't want to get in there. The negativity of being in there is going to wash over everybody. So the fact that we know if we lose the next two matches, we're still pretty much going to be above that bottom three. That's why it's really important. Now, if we can pull off a win or two draws or one draw even in the next two matches, that will be nice, positive situation because of the teams we're playing. And then we also have the cup match as well in between both of them. So
that's right.
If those matches don't go well, but we do pull out the cup, that's positivity breaking up all the negativity that may come if we end up losing those matches. So that's why it's so important, and we got it. We need to stay away from that bottom relegation zone. After Coventry, it's not easy, but it's easier. So our run into the halfway point is a bit easier, but some of the teams in there are difficult as well. So particularly the Christmas region, it is a bit easier. And we do have Sheffield United on Stephen's Day, so the 26th of December, which is the big match. So will they be back in good form by then? Who knows? we'll see.
One of the reasons is that losing to Oxford could have started a massive doom spiral as well. A massive negativity spiral is one of the biggest things to have happened, especially against a team like Oxford. Like I said it yesterday, losing to them would have brought great shame and dishonor to our name and our families and our clan.
Cue the Mulan song.
I saw that comment yesterday. It was quite fun, actually.
Shame and dishonor.
Yeah, look, the truth is any team can lose to any team, but what you don't do is you don't lose to every team around your position. So you need to be beating some of them, at least. So
And
they're in a
especially
position
Oxford.
especially Oxford. I don't know what you have against Oxford, but just in general, yes. You need to be beating the teams around you if you want to progress forward. Absolutely.
I don't personally have anything against Oxford. They're just not a good team. That's it. And to lose to them would be like, it's just humiliating. And here's the thing, we're not expected to win against Middlesbrough and Coventry. I get that. You can have excuse FC at that point. They're right at the top. Those guys are just ready to get in. You got Frank Lampard there who wants to just get into the Premier League. He's got something to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. But to lose to Oxford, which is if you saw the previous season, the season before, they're just basically a team that's just trying to survive. That's all it is in the Championship, and just try and build slowly into it to be a solid Championship side that can maybe one day give a push into the First Division. But to lose to them would be dishonourable.
Okay. Well, as soon as you said that, what came to my mind instantly, and Michael has it in the chat, we shouldn't have had a 2-2 versus Wednesday either. We were winning that match. We were ahead. We should have finished that one out. So these things happen. Look, you have to roll with them. But look, we won the match we had to win for the points and for everything else. And now what we need to do is we need to pull off some nice moments of quality, as the term is. We need moments of quality in the next two matches. And hopefully we need to pull something out of those two matches, whatever it may be. Anything from any of the matches would be good, preferably from both, if it can be done. But that would start if we're hitting a positive run. Now that we've got a couple of points, and now that the team was looking okay, maybe we should keep this formation. Maybe we're just more comfortable in it and maybe used to it a little bit more. It kind of worked today. Will it work against the better teams? Look, we have to wait and see.
Well, I have a comment on that, Patty. I think we should be playing with more possession.
Okay, go on. Why?
I don't know what it is. I feel like I just don't think we press enough and we do enough off the ball defensively. And that's why it feels like in the second halves of those games, we're always chasing and we're not enough. We don't have enough guys on the ball. But this performance, Oxford gave us space. We had possession. And look how well we could play with each other. We kept the ball on the ground, well, for most of the part. Yeah, and I think we created more chances, but I don't know. That could just be my preference of just having more possession, because I think we have quality players.
Yeah, I have seen moments in matches where we have looked good on the ball, but in general, the more possession we have, the less likely we seem to be to win the match. So that's
because they're not
one.
finishing. They're not finishing their chances.
Yeah.
It's also because we're not pressing either. We're not aggressive enough to move forward.
Yes.
We pass back side to side, and we're not trying to find the space when we should be finding the space, and then they end up using the same predictable moves. We go back, get it to Clearworth, go up to Doyle or Brunt, and then go to the middle, and then go to Kabore, and then you can just see the predictable pattern that's taking place, instead of just pass the ball back. If you're going to go back, find space again, find those passing channels, go forward, pass to Thomason or to, let's say, O'Brien, and then get it to Kakacho and keep going forward. but they're not doing that. And if you can't find the space, if they've got a strong mid block there, or if they're just preventing you, do a slight long ball, get it over to one of your wings.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Bypass it.
Matt White has done it. He's put the comment in that I've noticed. Okay. Here we go. Watch this. I'm going to go on a rant here. Matt White. I do like the saying, you can't lose if they don't have the ball. One of my dislikes of how Parky tends to play. I hate the saying. I absolutely hate it. Right? And I'm going to give you a very straightforward reason why. Because it only works for probably the best 4 teams in the league. Because at the moment, everybody is trying to play with the ball, mostly. There's a couple of exceptions. The weakest teams might have to go and play defense every single match. But when most people are trying to play the ball, only the very best are able to do it. That they can keep the ball, they can wait, they can bide their time. Everybody else is making mistakes. They're losing the ball. And I understand the point, yes. When more possession is generally better, and I would like us to increase our possession, but I do not want to stop general directness. When you have the ball, you don't just pass it around wasting time and waiting for the perfect opportunity. I hate that. I absolutely hate it. Peterborough. I had this all last season in League One with Peterborough. They were the fancy team. They supposedly could pass the ball around. Ended up playing like dog shit. So if you don't have the players for it, and if you can't be the best at it, this saying does not work. It only works for the very, very best. But I will admit we do need maybe a bit more possession. We need to be more comfortable on the ball. We need to be better at the passing play elements. But there we go. Agree or disagree? Have at it.
Well, to that point, Patty, that I think that's why we have players like Windass, we have players like Broadhead. Like they should be our creative players to push the ball forward.
Yeah.
I don't expect our back line to push as much. And I don't expect, I mean, if you put Matty James there, I'm not expecting Matty James to push the ball forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's why I partly like Thomason so far from what I've seen from him, is he seems to naturally want to progress the ball forward. He's not looking to pass it backwards. And that's something I hate when it's very obvious that you're in a situation, this ball is going to be played backwards. And it happened too much with Longman at the weekend. Whenever Longman got the ball, he tried to move forward. He got blocked by the defenders because he wasn't quick enough. He turned around. And the second he turned around, he was playing that ball backwards. He wasn't looking for any other pass. And then that ball was going all the way back to our own third.
The problem is that no one's willing to occupy spaces as well. The point of having high possession football is to be able to find passing channels and to find spaces to be able to occupy. You need to have those spaces covered and occupied to be able to do the pass and have it clean, and so you can do those triangles. But they're not doing it. Everyone's a bit janky about that. Everyone's a bit off when they're not doing those passes. So they keep them short most of the time, as opposed to that. And what we do is we pass the ball forward on the wings. We do those triangles and then try and get through the wings and go forward that way, as opposed to just trying to finding players that can get to those spaces to be able to do those passes through those passing channels. But not everyone can play tiki-taka or Gangnam pressing.
Yeah, and it is a team situation. You have to have the whole team working together, and they all have to be good at doing it. So that's fair as well. Some of our players are quite good at it. We can see moments where there's some brilliant defense splitting passes or midfield splitting passes, very short windows, and they're sliding the ball through into dangerous situations. But not everybody can do it. And even if they can do it a bit, they're just not good enough to be comfortable doing it. So it's going to take time. Absolutely. Now, Aaron has joined us for his first comment. He's obviously really, really busy, either working and making money or with the family, doing less important things than actually following football. But anyway, watch this. Aaron, in for the win. First comment of the night. Boom. I bet Southampton fans are loving all of the possession they've had this season. I went back to my old favourites, Peterborough, but Aaron in for the win with an up-to-date modern equivalent in the Championship, Southampton.
In a sense, in a weird way, Pep and Klopp ruined English football. They try to. The problem is Pep and Klopp. They introduced gegenpressing and tiki-taka football. The problem is that everyone tried to copy them, but they're just basically half-arsing it. They can't get the principles down properly. They don't understand. You're not just passing the ball around for the sake of passing the ball around. And they don't have the kind of creative players that would understand the point that you've got to find the spaces as well as the passing channels to be able to get those balls into those areas where you can get the ball forward. You pass the ball backwards and do the side-to-side passing for the purpose of trying to bait them to come in so that you can find the space and get the ball through those channels. And you occupy those spaces to do so. But they're not doing that. And everyone else is just basically passing the ball around like it's a Sunday league football match and just kicking about like you're having fun with your mates. But that's not how you're supposed to operate for that kind of play.
Yeah. Lots of great comments coming in here and putting up on screen. At least we didn't give an indirect free kick passing back to AO.
Arthur, by the way, had a great game today. He had a great game today.
He did have a great game, absolutely. He's looking like the Arthur of old in League One.
Mm-hmm. He made me nervous. He's been making me nervous, but he had a great game today.
Yeah. And Woody here is shouting out Brunt. Legitimately back in for at least the next 3 games with Doyle out. Doyle needs an ego check. Well, my
That's a hot take, Woody.
Well, my shout is it's going to be 2 games, not 3. But maybe he'll get the extra game just because he's playing well. Let's hope. Okay. Oh, Kim's throwing shade. Let's throw it up there. Ipswich, Birmingham, and Leicester 2. Ticky-tacky nothingness. You go, Kim. Let's throw shade at the other teams. I have no problem doing that whatsoever.
The thing is, Birmingham is much more of a gegenpressing team. Ipswich is I don't know what they are, and Leicester is all.
Go on.
And Leicester is all tiki taka, but they can't finish the ball. They just cannot finish the ball. That's the only thing. Beautiful passes, beautiful creative play. They can do all that. There's just no firepower for some reason.
George Williams here. When will we find out if Doyle gets 2? Well, that will first of all depend on whether we decide to appeal it or not. If we appeal it, in theory, there is a chance they can make it worse. They can actually make it higher. But that's very unlikely. To be honest, I don't think this was anywhere near intentional in any way. He just messed up with his tackle. So for me, it's an easy 2. I don't think it'll get reduced, but maybe we'll get lucky. Who knows if they want to do it. So it'll delay it. And he actually, well, I suppose because it's a red card, he probably won't be able to play the next match until the suspension happens. But sometimes what the teams will do is they will actually ask for it to be checked. They'll appeal it, knowing they're going to lose, simply so that the player can actually play the next match. So if you have a really difficult match and you want that player to stay, then you'll appeal it just to allow him to play, and then he can take a suspension afterwards. But it'll be released quickly. It'll be announced if they decide they're not appealing it. So we'll know pretty quick.
Have you considered bribery?
Bribery. Well, everybody says we do that anyway. But guys, we have a new guest, Donna W. Donna, you haven't been with us before, certainly not me anyway. Coming in now. Hello. Oh, Mary, you disconnected there. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. You're welcome to come back in, but if not, goodbye. Thank you. Donna, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, nice sound coming out there.
Hello.
What would you like to discuss?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you have a topic in mind that you would like to talk about?
I just want to commend Parky for having a different lineup. And
Okay.
yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Yeah.
I don't know. Should I get out of YouTube? This is the first time I've ever done this.
You're welcome. Welcome.
Okay.
Just say what you feel. Hello.
Okay. So I just
sorry,
think
one
that,
second, Donna. Sorry for
Parky,
interrupting. Have you got YouTube on in the background? Are you listening to us through YouTube or through the StreamYard?
all right, now is that better?
Yeah, I
Can
think
you
so.
hear me now?
We can hear you fine. I just think you were a little bit delayed on hearing us if you're listening through YouTube.
Okay,
you have to listen through the
I just
StreamYard.
exited it out of YouTube, so I should be okay.
You should be good now. Okay.
All right. So I will state up front, I have not watched the game because I was at work.
Okay. Yeah.
But I do have it taped, so I'll be able to watch it. But just looking on ESPN's game stats, I noticed that he had a wide variety of players that he normally has never even started, much less put in as subs. Like George Thompson was out as a starter. We've all been screaming for Nathan Broadhead to be out there, and he started him. And lo and behold, he scores in the first 14 minutes. I just thought it was great to see that he actually tried something different. And I don't know whether that was because it was Oxford and we were supposed to win, and giving people like Windass and others a break because we know we have two really difficult teams coming up. I just know because I coach, and it's very hard. I can understand where Parky is. It's very hard to let go with something that you're attached to try something different. But I felt like we were at a point where you had to try something different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do you think he tried it? Do you think he tried this new lineup to give certain players a rest going into these two big games? Or do you think that he was just like, screw it, let's try something else?
I don't think he was doing it to give people a rest. Parky rarely seems to give people a rest just to give them a break. And we've seen him drive people into the ground, playing every single minute if he thinks they're important. But the truth is we haven't played well in the last couple of matches. So he needed to make a couple of changes, and I think he did. But I think potentially the injuries to Sheaf and Marriott might have also pushed him to make another couple of changes as well. So maybe there was a few more than he originally wanted, but it seemed to work out, and now it's giving him other options to consider moving forward.
I agree with that, 100%.
Yeah.
And also we've got a midweek game as well. So this is a midweek game. We just had a match on Saturday, then we've got this midweek game, and then we've got another match on Saturday, and then we're gonna have another midweek game.
Yes.
And I also wanted to bring up, I think the silver lining in our record up to date prior to this game is that other than that one game that we lost 3-0, we were in every game. We only lost by like a goal. And so the games that we lost, other than that 3-0, could have been wins, the game or ties. And the games that we tied could have been wins, and we just needed to get over it. And it's not like we were being blown out 7-1, in every game. We were in every game, whether we liked how we played. We were in that game because it was a 1 goal or tied game, difference, and 1 goal difference or a tie game. And, hopefully this trying out new personnel, seeing what certain people can do, will be a jumpstart to a better mentality as a team and move forward in a more positive direction, making those one goal losses into ties and making those ties into victories.
Yeah. The older formation of the 3-5-1-1 seemed to make a difference today for some of the players. And that will be interesting too. So in the next match, we do have a very difficult team away. And what's he going to do? Is he going to stick with the 3-5-1-1, or is he going to go back to trying the 3-4-2-1 again? That will be interesting to see how he plays that. Where possible, and resting players, I do like the idea if two players are very similar quality in the same position, especially when we have midweek matches. I like the idea of doing the AB situation. So Windass started on Saturday, and then you swap him out later. Then on the midweek match, he goes onto the bench, and the B player starts, and then you swap them back and forth like that. Where possible, I like that idea to give people a break as much as you can to reduce their minutes and their workload. But we can't do it in every position because we're just not deep enough in every position to have equal like for like in the squad.
And that's exactly what I've been saying in my own mind, is like, because, Broadhead and Windass, I could see that being a very easy in and out. And, I think that with Smith, I do like bringing O'Brien back and letting, maybe even having Smith and working something out offensively with Smith, Broadhead, and Windass, and bringing O'Brien back. And I know that Dobson has played very well, but even, switching out Dobson and O'Brien in that role that Dobson is in right now, and giving and finding somebody to replace. Oh, now I'm blanking on the name. Moore,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree with what a lot of people are saying is that he wears out at the 60th minute.
Yeah.
When you see that decline, there's got to be a go-to person to put in and not wear him down to the ground.
Well, Smith did look good tonight. I think he deserves more minutes than he's getting. He's coming onto the pitch very late, and I do agree that Moore does seem to tire. Excuse me. Moore does seem to tire quite a bit. But just before I forget there, you were mentioning about bringing O'Brien back to the Dobson role. What you can also do potentially there is you could have 3 players rotating within the 2 positions. So maybe in certain matches, Lewis O'Brien could start in the Dobson role. And then on a different match, Dobson is in and Lewis O'Brien moves more forward to the front of the box midfield. And Thomason could be in there as well, rotating with certain players. So you can, instead of also doing like an A-B situation, you can have 3 players, ABC, with some of them able to hold 2 roles.
Yes.
So you could also do it that way and switch them in and out.
Having not watched the game, how did Thomason play?
Very positive football, very attacking when he got the ball. Most of the players were very attacking today. There was very little turning backwards and playing the ball back into our own third. But they all did pretty well. Yeah, I like Thomason. He looked decent.
And see, that's another player that if we can work him in.
He can wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Where hopefully now Parky will feel more comfortable putting certain people out on the field that he's been holding back on playing.
I mean, he'll have no choice. This is the championship will be ruthless in regards to not using your squad depth, because the championship and by extension the Premier League, if you don't have depth of squad, you're just going to wear your players out to the ground. The pace, the power, the speed, everything goes up every time. The jump to the championship is a big one, especially when it comes to, like, let's say, going by the league table at the top end clubs. The level of depth you've got to have to be able to replace those players as quickly as possible is just you got to be able to do it. You just have to have that depth of squad, because if you don't use them and all you do is use the same players, it's going to be the fastest way for you to basically fall down the table if you don't use them.
Yeah, and I would certainly argue that we lost matches when we first started this season because of not having the depth on the bench. Now, I know we didn't have some of our transfers at that point, which was kind of why. But when we got to the 70 minutes, the players we did have were dead, and we didn't have someone suitable to replace them with from the bench, and that's how we lost quite a few of those early matches. Was we were doing okay up to the 70 minutes, but the teams we were playing just had much better depth holding over from the previous championship season that we hadn't organized yet, and that hurt us early in the season for me.
And I think there's also a lot to be said too. If you're never bringing players out or only giving them, like the biggest complaint about Broadhead recently is when he goes out there so late, he's running around like a madman trying to do a lot in a very little time. When you sit the bench all the time and you're not out on the field, you lose that game mentality, and you're kind of in a pressure. I've got to show the coach what I can do kind of mode. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I can get more time, and that's putting a different kind of pressure than just the game pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt White, just remember, still 35 games left this season. It's a marathon, not a sprint, and I like our team depth. I'm starting to like our team depth more and more now that I'm seeing other players get their chances. Yes, I'm starting to feel better about the depth. Thomason was one that I was really unsure about. Obviously, he's after coming up from League One with us from a different team. So you would hope he was special if he got picked, because he's the only one from League One that we brought up with us that wasn't in our own team, which was interesting. And he has played well so far for his limited time.
I mean, we also have more than 35 games as well.
Well, with the cups and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be more like, if we can go far enough, it could be up to 50, maybe even up to 60 games. Depending.
No, 60 is a little much.
Maybe not 60, but around 50-ish.
Yeah, 50-ish, low 50s, yeah. Okay. A lot of people talking about Hardy. Hardy missing, Hardy getting shafted. And Jeff Davies here on the final one. Hardy committed the cardinal sin of missing chances. Well, he didn't miss that many chances because he didn't get that many matches to actually play. But what do you think on Hardy, guys? I've mentioned this before. I do think he's a little bit hard done by. He came in early as a good deal that would increase our squad, but we seem to have moved on from him. And it was pretty much said as much that he was an early choice, but then we found better afterwards.
Well, isn't he the player that a lot of the fans from his previous team were saying he's streaky? And when we were still trying to assemble our team, he was put out there with our League One team. Yes, and so I feel like he's never been allowed to come back in since we've gotten our team up to snuff. And so I feel like he at least needs to be given more opportunities to prove his worth.
Yeah, I agree.
I think Parky's still trying to develop him as well to fit our system.
Yeah, but I guess everybody is doing a bit of development, really. They're all being asked to change their style a bit and to learn what we're doing. And yeah, everybody's saying Hardy did miss some chances, but again, also he got into those positions to take those chances. He's quite quick, pretty fast. So definitely for Hardy is going to have to impress in training. And it wasn't Rathbone, it was Marriott. Marriott had a hard time when he first came in January, trying to get noticed in the squad. And I said the same thing as well then with him, is he needs to go and learn in training exactly what Parky wants from him. Down to the tiniest little thing. He needs to listen to everything he's been told, and he needs to do exactly what's been asked of him, so that when he gets the opportunity, he can show that. And Hardy seems to be in that position now as well. He needs to pay very close attention to what is expected of him and wanted of him, so that when he gets that opportunity, he is playing exactly like Parky wants him to. Because Parky is a bit of a harsh taskmaster. Like, he does have his favorites, and if you're not in the favorites, then you're going to have a little bit of a hard time. You will get hooked if you don't do exactly what's expected of you. So if you have to do it, you better know what that is. So pay attention in training. Because sometimes players are good, but they're good at doing what they're used to doing, not what's been asked of them sometimes. So I don't know if that's the case with Hardy, obviously, but if you want to get in, you better play well and do exactly what's needed when you get that chance.
I think another thing too is that I felt like by starting the same guys, over 11 guys over and over again, we became predictable. Like people were saying in previous chats, is that, teams were double teaming Kabore because they knew that Longman isn't as great a threat. And what everybody knows what Kiefer Moore can do now. They've learned by if we start the same lineup over and over and over again with no real dynamic change in how we play, we're predictable. And by adding all these new players like we did today, maybe teams prepare for one team and then this other team shows up that they're not used to. Nobody really knows how Nathan Broadhead's going to play because he's only played like the last 10 minutes of every game if he's gotten in. You know what I mean? And so if you put a Hardy in or you put a Smith in, you're changing the dynamics of how we play, just in the speed of the player, the not tactical, but how they play tactically with their other teammates that are out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think a Broadhead, Smith, or a Hardy would be a good working relationship on the pitch. It would be, in terms of service-wise of getting the ball forward. I think it would be, and they could probably get them into the most dangerous parts of the final third and get those goals in. Something about Kiefer Moore, it just becomes. I mean, he's a bit clumsy. He's good for certain things. He's good for certain set pieces and other things like that. But in terms of just being that kind of mobile and agile forward, or to be the more mobile and agile number 9, he's not that kind of player. And there was a bit I noticed as well where there was a perfect point where he could have passed the ball to Windass and just didn't do it. He just doesn't have that kind of creative play. He's an old school number 9.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. One thing I was going to mention there before we move on too much is Gary Rowett and are we predictable or not predictable? What was interesting was, once again, we had a manager who is basically telling his keeper to go down and fake an injury because he wants to talk to the players, because he wants to move things around and change things. It's something that Parky doesn't particularly do too much. He certainly doesn't call for injuries as far as I can see to do it. So yeah,
I told you they were dirty. I told you they were dirty there.
But lots of teams are doing it these days. I don't necessarily call that dirty in particularly, but I don't like it. I don't know if I would want to do it, but yeah. So yeah, other managers do try and tactically change throughout the match, and we don't really too much, but we're slowly getting some more options at least. We for the last 2 seasons we never changed from 3-5-2 until we changed to the 1-1 version, but now at least we have a couple of different options, which is good. Now I got called out in the chat, so here we go. Jesse, Paddy, do you really know who Parky's favorites are? No, I don't really know who Parky's favourites are. I was meaning more simply on who he just doesn't take out of his team. Who, if they're not injured, they're playing. So they're his favourites. Yeah.
McLean.
Well, McLean until McLean wasn't good enough, which is only recently. But up until the point that McLean stopped getting in the team, he was in the team every match. So yes. Yeah.
What do you think they're going to do with McLean? Do you think they'll?
I think he's
keep him for the end,
basically
or
done.
You don't think they'll trade him or anything?
No, I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. He's got a long contract. I think he's just going to sit on it, or yeah. I think he's now moved on from him. So McLean will talk about. Let's talk about the cup, which is only 2 matches away. I do think McLean will probably be seen in the cup. To lead the team for that one. He'll likely be in for that. And I am interested to see the lineup for the cup and who plays, because once again we will get the opportunity to see some of the other players that aren't in the starting 11 but need minutes. So I'll be interested to see if Thomason gets to start in the next match, and if he's not starting in the next match, then he will definitely be in that team, I would think. Hardy as well needs the minutes, obviously, so I would expect Hardy to get the nod for the cup match as well. So I'm very interested to see who gets the minutes. And if McLean does not get minutes in the cup match, then that's it. He's done, unless there's massive injuries. Yeah, so Matt White is here saying he agrees Maka will play in the cup. Definitely, well, starter or sub. Yeah, he'll at least be on the bench. I think he'll start, personally. But what do you guys think?
It all depends, I think, on whether Parky wants to win that game or not, too, to go farther into the cup.
Well, I think the way you win that match is by putting really strong players on the bench. So if they're needed, if we're losing or if things aren't looking good, then you're swapping out players for better players. I think that's the route he's going to take with this one. I think it'll be a strong team. I don't think he's going to go very weak, but I think it depends on who's playing, because the next match we have is Middlesbrough away, and then the cup is just before Coventry at home. So there will be an element of managing minutes. So the best players who need time off, maybe like Moore. So he'll be on the bench. Maybe Windus will be on the bench, depending on whether he's playing, or maybe Broadhead. If Broadhead continues to play from here, then Broadhead might be on the bench and Windus might be getting to start if Broadhead starts this next match.
And there are only a few EFL clubs left anyway. So there's the terrifying and the terrifying Grimsby.
Yeah.
That would give everyone nightmares. Then there's us.
There's us. Swansea are still in.
Swansea still in, and then there's Cardiff.
Yeah, that's it, I think. And then all Prem teams. So the likelihood is a Prem team for the next one. Yeah. Assuming we get through Cardiff, of course.
Yeah, and the good thing that will come out of that would be purely optics. To go as deep as we can. If we manage to beat a Prem team, that would look good on us.
Of course, yeah.
And
go ahead. Yeah. In
our luck, we'll get Grimsby.
Grimsby. Do you know what? I want Grimsby and just push it all the way down. Yeah, that'd be quite cool. Why not get Swansea and go through both Welsh teams, and then end up with the semis against the Prem team. But anyway, yeah, what I was going to say is it has been long enough in the Cups that we have not gotten a Prem team. So we need to get to a big Prem team and have a big day out in the Cup. and have some fun. There you go.
Well,
My
if
opinion.
we beat Cardiff and Swansea loses, we'll be the top Welsh team left in the tournament.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. Yep.
The only issue would be if we were to get like a disgustingly difficult team from the Prem.
I don't care. I don't care. I would like to be the Prem team, of course, but I'll take any of the Prem teams. It's just been so long. We have missed out on so many draws with the FA Cup and the League Cups and all of this. And we have not managed to get to a Prem team. So we need to take out Cardiff, and then we need to get a Prem team. And here's Michael. Yeah, imagine Haaland running at our back line. That's why I want to watch it. I want to see it. No, actually, in fairness, could you imagine how good the watch along would be? Josh just sitting there going, danger, 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 danger. It wouldn't be two dangers anymore. He'd be doing runs of 12 and 13. Danger,
it would just be a
danger,
reoccurring case of danger. That's all it'll be. Just constant danger every time. Haaland will bulldoze our back line.
Okay, Black.
Did you see what he did to that player from Israel when it was Norway versus Israel? He just he forced him to. There was an Israeli. So when it was Israel versus Norway, Haaland got he missed 2 penalties, but then he got a hat trick. And one of the ways he got his goals was that he pushed the centre backs into the ball, and thus getting an own goal. He bulldozed him. He did.
Okay, so Matt White is saying beat Cardiff, then Arsenal or Liverpool next round. Yeah, Arsenal and Liverpool will be big names and interesting. For me personally, I don't want to be Liverpool because I would like to go and see the match, and it's too close to Wrexham. There'd be too many people wanting tickets. So somewhere down south, I would like to have for the Prem team, and I will fly over and watch the cup match. So that'd be cool.
And so we lose set piece FC instead.
Okay, guys, we are coming up on 90 minutes, and I think we have had a great run tonight. And on that bombshell of Josh just constantly shouting like a broken record, danger, 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 when we play a Prem team like Man City. This has been a great one. This has been fun, guys. You've been great in the chat, making me laugh all night. The same with the watch along. And it won't be long until we get to our next one. I believe tomorrow night we have Tactical Fortitude. So come along and watch that. And as you drop out, please do give us a like and drop some comments in the main comment section of the video. That would be great. And if you're not subscribed and you would like to subscribe, hit the button. If you want to become a member, do that also, because Josh likes money and keeping it to himself and not paying me. But I don't mind because he's a nice guy. One day I'll turn around and tell him he needs to pay me. But guys, thank you very much and have a good night. Oh, stop. Josh will kill me if I stop here. Donna, normally we like to start with an origin story, or certainly Josh does. But because it's a call-in show tonight, I kind of forgot about it. So would you be so good as to do a little bit of about yourself? Are you happy to do that? You don't have to. I won't. How you came to Wrexham or anything like that? Or doesn't have to be personal.
I started watching, like everybody else in America. I started watching the Welcome to Wrexham. Absolutely loved it. Became a fan. Been following it ever since. And so that's what obviously the TV show got me into it. My son played soccer. I coached him when he was really little. I've coached travel. He's played travel. I didn't coach him in travel, obviously, but yeah. So I've been that soccer mom and coached a lot of sports. But so anyway, that's how I got into the Wrexham. And yeah.
Great. So it's been lovely having you, and do come
Well,
back.
thank you for letting me in.
Yeah, no problem.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Go on.
It is to Donna. I know it's coming up to the end, but did you ever have to do private tuitions? Because I know it's a pay to play out there in the US. Did you ever have to come across those?
When kids play travel soccer, even the smallest travel soccer leagues can cost. It was $2,000 for my kid to be on the team, and that's not including all the travel, not including the uniform, the soccer bag, the warm-ups, the this, the that, staying in hotels to go to tournaments. And now it's really big. It's really become an elitist sport in the United States. It's
crazy.
not like anywhere else in the world where because our professional teams don't have a feeder program the way like DC United has a youth program, but it's not at anywhere near the level of what you have over there in Europe. Not
just
even.
to ask as well. Just to ask, is the coaches all from the UK?
We had I'm in the DC metropolitan area, Northern Virginia, Maryland area. And there were overseas coaches that coached travel soccer. But there were a lot of homegrown American coaches too. But they all have to have the, certain coaching certifications. And stuff. So the levels, depending on how. And I know friends of mine whose kids played on elite teams that went to national tournaments, and now you're talking airline tickets and hotels and time off of work to go with your kid or send your kid with people. I don't know. It's very expensive over here.
Yeah, because I've heard some things about coaches that are from the UK that go over to the US, and I've heard some awful stories about them as well. And I've come to this conclusion, and it's come to a fact that when you find out about these coaches, they're not good. They're not good coaches, because if they were coaches, they would be coaching in England or Scotland or anywhere else. They tend to just see it as, I can go to the US. They've got a soccer program going on over there. I can just set one up. They'll just buy into it because I have an accent and they think I know a bit of football, and so they might just, I can charge a bit more than usual. But if they were good football coaches, they would be doing it in England.
I'm sure that's true. My kid, a lot of parents in the United States too, sadly think that, oh, my kid's playing travel soccer, they'll get a D1 scholarship to play at a university. And sadly, it's my understanding, and my kid was never one of those kids, but sadly, a lot of the D1 schools, which is the top tier of universities, and they're mostly overseas players. So your chances of an American kid getting a D1 scholarship in soccer is very slim.
That tends to be a bit of an issue. I mean,
so, there's all these, misled aspirations of, oh, I'm going to play really hard, pay all this money, tens of thousands of dollars for my kid to play on this top tier team, thinking they're really good. And then they don't get a scholarship because, some kid from overseas got it.
You're probably better off if it would probably cost you a lot less to actually send your kid to England and send them to a youth academy. I'm not joking.
No, and I mean, Christian Pulisic did that. How old was
he? Sorry, guys. Hold on there for 2 seconds. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody. We can continue this in the background afterwards. So say a quick good night there to everybody. I'll let them go and we can chat about this in the background because it's gone a little bit off topic. Thanks, guys. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.